I woke up to a woman shouting my name. My head ached so badly I could barely open my eyes. When I did, I saw a woman and a girl crying beside me. One looked exhausted but graceful. My mother, Grace. The other, a teenage girl with black hair and green eyes, Hannah. I felt weak, my body trembling. They were relieved I was awake. I told them I was fine, though my voice barely came out. Grace stopped the carriage to cook, and Hannah ran to help. The moment they left, silence filled the air. Then it hit me. Back on Earth, I was a 26-year-old mechanical engineer. I'd just gotten a raise, then a car crash ended everything. Now I'm in the body of a 15-year-old boy named Ethan Cho, the illegitimate son of King Huan of the Arcadia Kingdom. His mother, Grace, had been a palace maid the king forced himself on. When she became pregnant, he hid her away and treated her like shame. His wives hated her, and his royal children bullied me for existing. A month ago, the king rewarded me with a territory called Baymar, a frozen, starving wasteland cut off from the empire. In truth, it was exile. As the carriage rolled through the cold road, I realized the truth. He wanted me gone. Then, a metallic voice echoed in my head. Host selected. System analyzing, 100% complete. I froze. Was that a system? Like in those novels? My heart pounded. Maybe this world wasn't hopeless after all. A voice echoed inside my head. Cold, mechanical, emotionless. Ding. Do you wish to bind with system? Without thinking, I said, bind. Binding of technological system completed. Host must bring advanced technology and development into this world. I froze. A system? In my mind? Still dazed, I asked, why me? When Host was on Earth, Host's IQ was 260. Among all deceased humans, Host was the smartest available candidate. I blinked. Smartest dead person? There are smarter individuals still alive. Due to Host's fortunate death, Host qualified. I almost laughed. Fortunate death? For who exactly? System will now explain basic functions. It continued before I could reply. Host will receive missions based on the condition of his territory. Completion provides rewards. System also offers a shop for basic equipment, purchasable with experience, technology, or bonus points. Experience from improving the land. Technology points from inventions. Bonus points from original ideas. Simple enough. A translucent screen appeared in front of me. Host. Name. Ethan Cho. Age. 15 status. Banished Prince of Arcadia. New Lord of Baymar level. Beginner condition. Weak, poisoned by Nolat Wisp. If exposed to wind for too long, Host may collapse. I sighed. Poisoned? Seriously? Maybe the king, maybe one of my half-siblings. Either way, someone wanted me dead. Before I could dwell on it, a small gift box appeared on the screen. System Starter Pack. Reward. Knowledge. Introduction to Farming. Bonus. Cure for poison. Physical strength improved. I tapped the icon. A sharp pulse of energy surged through me. Knowledge flooded my mind. Soil, crops, irrigation, everything. My body grew stronger. The weakness faded. I looked at my hands. The color had returned, flesh warming with life again. Another message appeared. Mission 1. Is your land really barren? Use farming knowledge to fix the food shortage in Baymar. Reward. Knowledge of gunpowder and cannon making. 100 development points. Submission. Map your territory for future use. No time limit. Just progress. Then came the second mission. Mission 2. Advance to level 2. Collect 2,000 experience points and 10,000 technology points. Reward. Unlock level 2. I nodded to myself. Makes sense. Can't have a strong kingdom without food first. Curious, I asked. System, Tell me about this world. The world is called Hertphilia. It has 9 continents. The host currently lives on Pino, which holds 5 empires: Arcadia, Corona, De Ferris, Tariq, and Yoden. Baymar is the 3rd largest city in Arcadia. 3rd largest? I frowned. Then why is it treated like trash? Baymar covers 6,000 square kilometers. Current population, 1,582. Food shortage severe. Winters deadly, most. Citizens survive on fishing. So that was the truth. Barely 1,000 people starving in the cold. It wasn't a kingdom. It was an abandoned graveyard. At least now I knew where to start. The carriage creaked beneath me as it rolled over uneven ground. Its wood was cracked. Its paint long faded. A noble's disgrace. My father hadn't even sent me off with a proper escort. What a stingy man. I sighed and leaned back. Well, at least I have the system. Just then, Hannah climbed into the carriage. She froze when she saw me, blinking in surprise. "Brother Ethan, you look normal again," she said softly, smiling. "Do you want to eat inside or outside?" "Outside," I said, standing up. The air was cold, but I felt stronger now. I stepped out of the carriage and followed her toward the firelight, ready to begin my first mission, to bring life back to Baymar. 10 groups sat on the ground, each circle gathered around small piles of food. As I walked past, every man dropped to one knee. "Greetings, Your Highness," I told them to sit. No need for formalities. They smiled with relief and went back to eating. I followed Hannah toward my mother and sat beside Grace. She immediately turned me left and right, checking my face, my eyes, my temperature. Hannah grabbed my wrist, feeling for a pulse. Inside, I sighed. I'm supposed to be a king, not a toddler. Grace finally spoke. "Ethan, you look better, but we'll find a physician in Baymar. Eat more first." Before I could stop her, she piled food onto my plate. Then Hannah joined in. Within seconds, the plate looked like a mountain. "Are you trying to kill me with kindness?" Grace even lifted a spoon and blew on it. "It's not hot now. Hurry and eat." I glanced around. The soldiers were hiding laughter. One nearly turned purple, holding it in. Great. My first royal meal, and I'm being spoon-fed. Still, warmth spread through me. Back on Earth, I'd grown up alone. Here, I had a mother who fussed and a girl who cared. It felt good. Hannah smiled when our eyes met. My chest tightened for a moment. She had always protected the old Ethan, and I silently promised I'd protect her this time. Even as I shoveled food into my mouth, another thought crossed my mind. Do I look like a baby pig to these women? 3 soldiers could share this plate. I finished every bite anyway. Better to die full than ungrateful. While we ate, I looked over the camp. 10 groups, about 330 knights in total, barely enough to guard a village. My brothers each commanded thousands. Even my sisters had more knights than I did. The men assigned to me were the Empire's rejects, too slow, too poor, or too troublesome. Yet watching them laugh quietly around their fires, I saw honesty in their faces. Maybe that was better than polished cruelty. 5 men stood out among them. Lucius, the knight commander who'd shocked the capital by resigning to follow me. He'd been like a father since my childhood, though I suspected his real reason for leaving was my mother. Maybe I should play matchmaker. Mom deserves happiness, too. Next to him sat Josh, Mark, and Gary, his 3 captains, loyal and skilled. And near my carriage, Trey Parsi kept watch, eyes scanning the horizon. He was only 19, but already a knight lieutenant, my personal guard and best friend. To him, I wasn't just a prince, I was family. In the Empire, knighthood ranked from squire to provost. Most of my men were pages or lieutenants, yet their loyalty felt stronger than any title. When everyone finished eating, Lucius gave the signal. The camp packed up, and we mounted the carriages again. The road ahead stretched toward a gray horizon where the sea met snow. Our destination, Baymar, the land the king called worthless, the place I would rebuild from nothing. As we neared the city, I couldn't help but stare. Baymar stretched wide under the pale winter sky, almost as large as the capital itself. For a land everyone called Barren, it looked full of potential. Maybe my father never even came. Here, I thought. He probably heard rumors and wrote it off. Foolish. Massive stone walls surrounded the city, towering nearly 16 meters high. Only one gate stood open for entry, guarded by weary men in rusted armor. It looked like something straight out of a medieval movie. As our carriages rolled through, people stopped to watch. Whispers followed us like wind. Is that the new lord? Do you think he'll help us? They say he isn't favored in the empire. Their eyes carried both hope and fear. The streets were lined with cracked stone and worn stalls. The people were thin, their clothes patched, their hands rough. Fishing and hunting keep them alive, I realized. Barely. To fix this city, I'd need money, and a lot of it. Thankfully, Grace and I had saved for years. She'd lived frugally since I was born, anticipating exile. I'd started saving my allowance the moment I could. Royal princes received gold. Commoners worked for copper. Where my half-brothers earned 300 gold a month, I got 50, and gave it all to her. We lived simply, so the coins piled. Up now that savings would have to feed hundreds. I calculated quickly, 6 months of survival maybe. After that, we'd need income, and fast. When we reached the castle, servants rushed out to greet us. They bowed low, their voices trembling. "Good day, Your Highness," I smiled. "Be at ease. I'm Ethan Cho, your new lord. This is my mother Grace and our household. Let's see our new home together." The castle was old but strong, its walls cracked, yet still proud. Inside, the staff gathered nervously. 30 people in total, most barely adults. "How many of you work here?" I asked. A girl stepped forward. 30, my lord. 12 gardeners, 4 stable boys, 3 cooks, and 11 maids. Good. Nathan, Daniela, step forward. The couple bowed. They'd served my mother for years. Their son Gary was one of my knights. Nathan will train the boys. Daniela, you'll train the girls. Everyone will be paid at the end of the month, 350 copper coins each. Use it well. The hall went silent. Then murmurs spread. Shock, disbelief, and then joy. Most of them had families barely surviving. I'd offered 100 more than the average wage. They bowed deeply. "Thank you, my lord." When they left, I turned to my knights. "You've followed me through everything. This is our home now. The Empire sent us away to die." Their expressions hardened. Anger simmered behind their eyes. "They think we'll starve out here," I said. "They think we're weak, trash, forgotten." The room filled with tension. But they're wrong. We'll build something greater than they ever imagined. The knights straightened, fire rising in their chests. "Are you with me?" A roar shook the hall. "Yeah," I said. "Are you with me?" "Yes, Your Highness," I grinned. "Good. Then listen carefully. From now on, you'll be paid for strength, not rank. Pages earn 1,000 copper coins. Squires, 2,000. Lieutenants, 3,500. Captains, 6,000. Majors, 9,000. Commanders, 12,000. Master commanders, 15,000. And provosts, 18,000. Gasps echoed around the hall. The salaries were insane, far beyond the Empire's standards. "This is a new era," I said. "A new city, and a new king," every voice shouted back as one. "Long live the king! Long live the king!" Their cheers filled the castle. For the first time, Baymar didn't feel like exile. It felt like the beginning of a kingdom. Morning mist rolled over the courtyard. The knights knelt before me in 3 uneven rows, hundreds of men, shivering but proud. I wasn't looking at warriors yet. I was looking at clay waiting to be shaped. Back on Earth, I'd served 2 years in the army before becoming an engineer. I knew what training could do, how it built confidence, unity, and strength that no title could fake. This world had knights who swung swords but never learned discipline. That would change. I stood tall and let my gaze sweep over them. "Tomorrow before dawn," I said. "All knights assemble at the inner castle." The air froze. Every breath turned white. Anyone late, no breakfast or lunch. 3 absences, no food for a day, plus punishment. Understood? Their voices thundered back as one. "Yes, my king." The echo rolled across the camp like drums. For a moment, I almost smiled. I told them to divide into 3 groups of 100. Lucius nodded, already understanding. Josh, Mark, and Gary each stepped forward and saluted. Their men roared their titles in unison, "Captain," and pride lit their faces like fire against frost. While they organized, I walked toward my mother and Hannah near the wagons. Grace's hands were dusted with flour, Hannah's cheeks pink from the cold. "Mom, we'll need food for everyone, knights, workers, us," I said. She counted softly, thinking. 3 wagons wheat, 1 beans, 1 peas, 1 mixed grains, 1 seeds. I nodded. "Perfect. Tomorrow, please have the kitchen prepare breakfast for all units by sunrise." I kept my voice gentle. She wasn't a soldier. She was my mother. Grace smiled, warmth melting the chill. "My little boy has grown up. Of course we will." She reached up and pinched my cheek before I could stop her. Hannah laughed quietly. Beside her, face turning red. "Brother Ethan, you look kind of cool when you give orders," she murmured. Grace giggled. I sighed inside. Great. My grand military moment ruined by cheek pinching. Still, I couldn't be angry. I was surrounded by people who cared. When I turned back, the soldiers had formed 3 solid ranks. Lucius stood beside me, arms crossed. I raised my voice. "Each captain commands his unit. All captains report to Commander Lucius." They saluted in perfect rhythm. As I looked across the rows of worn armor and scarred faces, a strange feeling tightened in my chest. They weren't elite knights or noble sons. They were outcasts, too slow, too poor, too unrefined for the capital. Yet here, they belonged. And under me, they would become something more. "You'll treat each other as brothers," I said. "No, one left behind. You eat together, train together, fight together, and rebuild this kingdom together." The camp fell silent. I saw men swallow hard, eyes shining. In this empire, weakness meant death. For the first time, someone had told them they mattered. Lucius stepped forward, his voice deep. "My king, we should inspect the land next, to know how to defend Baymar." I nodded. "Exactly. We'll see it with our own eyes." As I moved toward the carriages, Lucius grinned faintly. "Little Ethan, do your cheeks still hurt?" I froze, realizing the men had heard. Their laughter rippled across the cold air. I groaned, but couldn't help smiling. Maybe this was what leadership felt like: strength, warmth, and a little humiliation all mixed together. We left the castle with cold air in our lungs. I opened the system the moment the gates closed behind us. "How do I map the territory?" Golden text answered, precise and calm. "Look at the empire map and highlight your regions." "Just like that?" "Yes, and if I expand later." "Highlight more regions. Alerts trigger on threats or intrusions. Simple, dangerous, perfect." I drew a circle around Baymar on the map. I left space between walls and fields for patrol roads. A prompt appeared like a breath on glass. "View selected territory on the monitor?" Yes. A window unfolded in my mind like a flat screen. Coastline, fishermen hauling nets, farm plots scratched into frozen soil, hunters crossing the gates, stone walls, tired towers, and a wind-scarred castle. Baymar moved beneath my eyes, alive and vulnerable. We rode through the upper region first. Estates stood like silent giants, 6 stone mansions each, with small outbuildings, 16 estates in all, wrapped by waist-high fences. You could see everything from the road. Grand, but abandoned. No nobles remained to sneer or scheme. When Arcadia cut us loose, they fled to the capital. Serving a powerless prince was suicide in their world. Loyalty was a costume they shed at the first storm. We entered the central region where the villagers lived. We greeted people, lent hands, kept moving. The homes were fragile. Timber frames, woven twigs, mud walls, straw roofs. One blizzard could flatten a street. The roads were worse, potholes, mud, and standing water. Baymar had the Empire's highest winter deaths. Now I knew why. Past the market lane, we saw daily life unfold. Men with bows searched the outskirts for meat. Women carried water in cold-bitten hands. Children ran, laughing through breath that smoked. They waved when our banner passed and then looked away. Hope was a habit they had forgotten. The land softened into the lower region, open fields and fallow ground. I counted hundreds of plots and barely 5 farmers. Even the soil looked abandoned. People believed the ground itself had given up. West of the fields, 2 vast private estates sprawled across the snow. East, a 3rd estate sat alone like a watchful eye. Their walls were heavier than the ones up north. Thicker gates, newer stone. Why here? Strange, I said to Lucius. Why build out here? Indeed, my king, he answered, scanning the horizon. A shy voice rose from the ranks behind us. Maybe they found something valuable in the lower region. The speaker trembled like a sapling in wind. Blonde hair, dark eyes, armor too big for his frame. What's your name, age, rank, and captain? I asked. Billy Vane, 17, squire under Captain Mark, my king. Good thinking, Billy, I said, and meant it. His face lit like a lantern in snow. Confidence is a spark. Sometimes, that's enough. We paused on a rise and looked back at Baymar. Upper region, empty wealth and echoing halls. Central region, brave families and fragile roofs. Lower region, fields that needed hands and secrets in the west. The system's map hovered beside the view, lines glowing gold. Borders mean little without people to hold them. Units maintain formation, I called. Captains note road, repairs, housing reinforcements, and field counts. Lucius rode up, eyes narrowed against the wind. We should inspect the estates to the west first. I agree, I said. If there's value, we'll find it. The men shifted, saddles, creaking like old doors. Snow hissed under hooves. I closed the monitor and kept the map open. 3 regions, 1 future.